Tonight at sundown begins Feast of Tabernacles. This particular holy day represents when the Israelites dwelled in tabernacles or tents for 40 years in the wilderness after they left Egypt. And we do this in remembrance of our ancestors being Hebrew Israelites according to the bloodline. And we will observe this holy day in the new kingdom when the Most High is dwelling in the earth. So I wanted to read some scriptures, starting in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 33. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles, for 7 days unto Yahweh. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. So it starts tonight at sundown and ends September 29th at sundown. So how we observe this holy day is by setting up a tent. You can set up a tent in your home, in your yard, and dwell in the tent for 7 days, meaning where you and your family members just go and dwell in a tent and remember how the Israelites dwelled in the tents for 40 years in the wilderness, where you got enemies around, you got animals around, but the Most High protected them from all of that. And also on the first and last day, we have a feast. So we eat, and then we go into the Bible and read where the Israelites were dwelling in the tents. So I want to read another scripture. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 16, starting at verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh thy God in the place which Yahweh shall choose, because Yahweh thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. Okay, so let's go to Zechariah chapter 14, starting in verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So even the other nations that are not Israelites will keep Feast of Tabernacles in the future when the Most High Yahweh is in the earth. And if you don't want to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, the Most High is going to give you a warning And after that, he's just going to smite you. So might as well get practice, because we're all going to be keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. And this is a sign that the Most High, he will always be for his people, the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the covenant will be with his people forever. So, Kwam Yasharala, rise Israel, come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of our God. Call on our God in our time of need. And as long as we're obedient to his commandments, he will hear us.